Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you a complete Low-VRAM LTX-2 workflow using GGUF models. This workflow will be available for free on my Patreon, along with additional written instructions to make setup a little bit easier. Let's start with the requirements, what to download, and exactly where everything goes. If you're using my workflow, once you drag and drop it into your workspace, download the required models that appear. Also, don't forget to go to your manager, Custom Nodes Manager, filter by missing, select all, install. And after it's done installing, you're going to run a restart ComfyUI. Now you need to download the LTX-2 GGUF model itself. Head over to the unsoft LTX-2 GGUF repository and pick one of the available quantized models. Think of these numbers like video resolution. The higher the number, the larger the file, and the better the quality. But it also requires more VRAM. Lower numbers use less memory, but sacrifice some fine detail. If you're not sure what to choose, I recommend starting with one of these two. Q2K is best for around 8 to 10 gigabytes of VRAM. The Q3KS is best for 10 to 12 gigabytes of VRAM. These give you the best balance of stability and performance for lower VRAM systems. Once downloaded, place the GGUF file into this folder, the ComfyUI models UNet. After that, restart ComfyUI so it can detect the model. If you try to run the workflow, you'll get some errors. So to fix those, we need to go inside the subgraph. And you can see these red outlines that are showing errors. The first one's the VAE that we come across. So we need to download two LTX-2. LTX-2 uses two separate VAEs, one for video and one for audio. If you don't have these installs, the workflow will break. So you'll need to download the video file, which is LTX-2 video VAE, and the audio version. Once you have those downloaded, place them in the models VAE folder and make sure to restart ComfyUI after. Next, we need to install the text encoders. LTX-2 uses dual text encoder setup, and both these files are required. One handles the main prompt understanding, and the other acts as an embedding connector that works alongside it. The first file is going to be the Gemma FP8 E4M3FN file. This is the primary text encoder used for prompt interpretation. The next is the text encoder embeddings. This works together with the Gemma encoder inside the dual clip loader. You need both of these for the workflow to function correctly, and they both go inside your ComfyUI models text encoder file path. Next is a latent upscaler. This part is optional, highly recommended if you're on a low VRAM system. This latent upscaler lets you generate at a lower resolution, then upscale later instead of trying to render high resolutions from the start. This saves a huge amount of VRAM and improves stability. And that'll be your LTX-2 Spatial Upscaler X2. And this file goes inside your ComfyUI models latent upscale models. You only need this if you plan to upscale inside this workflow. If you don't download it and the workflow references it, ComfyUI will show a missing model warning. I recommend downloading it even if you don't plan to use it right away. We also have the ability to load LoRAs in this workflow. Simply find the best one you want, probably from the LTX-2 official webpage, download them, and put them in the models LoRa file path. They're not required, so only use the ones that you prefer. One quick thing before we jump into the workflow and adding the models to the nodes. If you have some extra money laying around and you want higher quality GPUs, you can go to runpod.com and rent out, say, a 4090 for 50 cents per hour, and you have access to a ton more. You can watch my other video on how to set up RunPod. I'll leave a link in the description. You can click, and when you make an account, you'll have $500 to $500 of free rewards for just signing up. And signing up's for free, but you'll have to add money once you create the account to rent out the GPUs. First, we have the Vantage GGUF UNet loader. That'll be whatever quantized version you downloaded from earlier. I'll create a tier list and recommendations on my Patreon of every single one of them. In the VAE, you want to load the video VAE that we downloaded. And then the VAE loader KJ node is where you're going to put your audio. And for the dual clip loader, you're going to use your quantized version from Gemma. Remember we talked about earlier, you need another clip loader to run alongside it. And that's where this embedding one goes. So inside this workflow, you'll see the LTXV empty latent audio. Keep this at the same rate as my video, so 25, same as here. We want to make sure these are the same. Also, we have a basic K sampler. It's just broken up into different pieces, but it works just the same. Keep this at 4. You can change the Euler to anything you want, just like a regular case sampler. You can increase or decrease steps as needed. We also have the Lora loaders here. You can control B to bypass them because you don't need them. I like using them, so I'm going to enable them both. And you can just slowly test these one by one to change the outcomes when you start to feel like you can experiment with this workflow. Now that we have all the models loaded, we can go back to the main workflow, upload your image, choose if you want to disable a crop or center the crop, which is just basically whatever your starting image versus what you set your width and height to be. My image and my settings are the same, so I'm going to disable this. I'm going to keep the scaling method and then resize. I'm going to set the frame count to 121 because if you remember, it has to be divisible by 8 and you add 1. So it would be 120 normally, but since for this workflow you have to add 1 frame, it's 121. I want to use a simple prompt, a negative prompt, and hit run. Now the video is generated, and I can pull up the console and look how long it took, add up the times. And for this video, it took about 3 minutes and 12 seconds with both LoRAs added. So it's pretty fast, pretty good quality. If this helped you out, hit like to support the channel, subscribe for more ComfyUI and AI workflow guides, and I'll see you in the next one.